Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
I'm Marylou.
And in studio with us we have Iman. And Iman, if somebody needed to get in contact with us, what would they need to do?
For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357. Everywhere else, 1-866-636-6284. Email dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net. And on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done. So, Iman, where do you go to school and what grade are you in?
I go to Warren Junior High School and I am in 7th grade.
All right, so you're brand new to junior high school. What do you like? I assume you like going to school at junior high, right? So is there something you like more than elementary school?
I feel like when we switch periods, like since there are different periods, the day just goes by like way more fast.
It goes faster, right?
It goes faster, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, because what is it, every 50 minutes you move? Is that about right?
Yeah, around that.
Okay.
Every 45 minutes.
So you like that movement, makes the day go faster, and you like having different instructors?
Yeah.
Or did you like having the one person all day?
Personally, I like having one teacher all day.
Okay. Well, guess when that'll happen again?
Never.
All right, there you go. So at least you know it's going to come up, right? So you're going to have a lot of different instructors all the time. But the good thing is you'll learn different things from each of those people and take those experiences that you have throughout the rest of your life with you. So you had a very busy summer. So tell us, because first of all, let's talk about the shirt that you've got on. International History Olympiad, Princeton in New York. And I know that because you were letting me know how you were doing and things like that. Is that the first time, first of all, that you had been back to New York and Princeton area?
No, I've never been to the East Coast area ever.
Okay, so this was your first time. And explain to us a little bit about this Olympiad that you took part in.
So the International History Olympiad is a part of an organization called International Academic Competitions. So it was founded by David Madden, a former Jeopardy champion.
Okay.
And he used those funds to create this competition. So the History one, it takes place around the world. And a few years ago, it was in Berlin. But this year, due to COVID, they had to hold it in New York. And next year, it will be held in Poland.
So because you were, so did you get to take part in this because you were going into 7th grade, or is it you can do it a couple of different times, or is it just one time and that was it?
I can do it many different times.
How did you qualify to even become part of this?
They have regionals, like regional qualifications, and if you get a good score, you can be qualified for the nationals or internationals.
Was this something you had to start at your school level, or you just automatically were entered into a regional?
You can do it at the school level, but I don't think my school did it at the time.
Okay.
So my mom basically kind of was my coach.
So you did it on your own?
So I did it on my own.
Good. Well, you know, I mean, that's a good way to go about it because you really want to do it then, right? If you're going to take this on by yourself. So you moved on to regionals, right? So you coached, you got that, right? You did well enough to score. Is there another step before you went on to New York?
I don't think so, no. I think when you qualify for regionals, you can qualify for that thing in me.
And what types of activities did you do while you were there?
So while I was there, they had many different like competitions. So there were mandatory ones and optional ones. So for optional ones, I chose the East Asian exam, the Native American history exam, as well as the country exam on Poland.
And did you have to do 3 different ones?
They recommended to do 3, but I know many kids did way more than 3.
Okay. And did you study specifically for those, or those were things that you like, I didn't know what to study for, but I feel pretty good with those topics?
Yeah, I studied for them, so that's why I could like be pretty good at those topics. And then there were also mandatory ones, which were mainly all about history, just like history in general. So from like in the BC period all the way to like at least the 1990s maybe.
You've got a lot of knowledge going on up there, right? If you need, I mean, that's a lot of stuff to know. So was there any technique or anything that you did that helped you prepare for this, you think, to do well at it?
Not really. I just, they have these practice things online. I just did a lot of those.
Okay.
But I just also really like history.
Well, and that's the key right there, right? You got to like history to be, you know, putting that much time and effort into it. And how did you do at the competition?
So overall, in the elementary division, I scored 10 out of 56.
Oh, pretty awesome right there, right?
But for those little exams that I was doing, like the East Asian exam or Native American exam, I believe in the East Asian, I scored 2nd place, and in the exam for, the battery exam, it was one of the mandatory exams.
Mm-hmm.
It's a multiple choice exam, and qualified for, I got these
Well,
medals.
check this out. You've got not only one, but you've got 2 medals. How about you hold one up and I'll hold one up, and let's hold them to camera 2 right here, and maybe they can get a shot of those. There you go. It's like the Olympics,
Yeah.
but the Olympiad for international history, right? Oh, that is sweet. It's got the description on the back of the competition and when it was and stuff like that. Well, good. Well, congratulations on that. I'm sure we'll have some more to talk about that in a little bit. You ready to do some math today?
Sure.
A little different than history, but maybe we can relate it to history later on. But anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. And some of you may be going, hey, I thought you guys used to come on at 4 o'clock. It's 4:30 in the afternoon and you're coming on later. That's new this year because there are some schools that start later, therefore they get out later, so we want to be of service to you later. So that's why we decided to start the program at 4:30 this year. So we still have phone tutors between 3:30 and 5:30, but the live program, instead of starting at 4, will always start at 4:30 for this year. And it's not a bad deal. You think so? Starting later? Do you like that? Do you go to school at the same time, or do you start later? Do you even know?
We start later.
So you start later. So that is one of the schools that started later at junior high right there over at Warren. All right, well, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. All right, and in studio with us today, we are honored once again to have our leader, Mary Barlow, the superintendent of all the Kern County schools. So, Mary, nice to have you in studio with us again.
Nice to be back. Thank you.
So, I was speaking with Iman a little earlier, and I had asked him if he had any questions for you, and he goes, well, you know, I know I put him on the spot. But for a lot of students, they know that their principal takes care of their school and the things immediately with that school. And some students may know there's a superintendent for their school district. There are a couple of schools or whatever, but you are the superintendent for the entire county. So kind of an umbrella. So basically, kind of what is your job? I know there's a lot of different things, but
Sure.
kind of basically as superintendent of the county.
So there are about 200,000 students in Kern County, and they are served by 46 different districts. Those 46 different districts range in size from 20 students to 43,000 at Kern High School District.
Okay.
I work in conjunction with those district superintendents to create opportunities so that all students can succeed regardless of where they live in the county, and they have the supports they need regardless of the school at which they attend.
And that's a pretty big thing because you've got a county the size of states.
Exactly.
And you-
8,100 square miles.
I mean, a lot of times people go, oh, yeah," they reference it to the size of Connecticut. And it's kind of the shape of Connecticut also when you take a look at it on the map. So 200,000 kids,
K through 12.
K through 12, and 43 superintendents that you're working with.
46.
46. So is there, I mean, it would be very difficult to have all of them together at the same time. Or does that happen?
We do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we absolutely do that. And we also bring in our charter school operators and CEOs. And so there are ways that we have organized ourselves. There's something you might have heard of called the Kern Education Pledge.
And that's what I was going to get into next. So let's go right into that.
Okay, so the Kern Education Pledge is something that was signed in 2017 originally by then superintendents of those 46 districts and the institutes of higher education like CSUB, Kern Community College District,
Okay.
where we agree to work together, share our strategies, share our resources so that all students can be successful. We re-signed that again last year. Within the Kern Education Pledge, there are 7 working groups, and they work on all different types of areas to support students from cradle to career. So whether it be kindergarten readiness or literacy or math skills by a certain grade level, or college preparedness, career preparedness, and finally entering the career of your choice.
So I can see there would be great benefit if you had all 40 plus superintendents together so that they get ideas and glean from each other, and what works well for one
Exactly.
could work well for another, maybe a different way.
Yes.
And then things that you may not have heard of from a different part of the county can be implemented someplace else.
That's exactly the idea behind it. And so we implemented something called the Kern Integrated Data System, which is a data system where we collect information from all of the students in the county, and we're able to see what's working in areas and where there might be some struggles, and then we're able to develop professional learning at a county level, at a district level, at a school site level, or at a classroom level, and really design the interventions and the supports that are needed to ensure that students in that classroom get what they need to be successful.
Okay. So in 2017, this started. You just signed it again in 2021.
Yes.
And what do you think is probably, if somebody said, hey, the Kern Pledge, what is one of the most significant things that you have seen because of this?
We've seen that we are outpacing the state of California in terms of graduation rate, meaning we have more graduates percentage-wise than the state of California.
Which wasn't always the case.
No, it was not.
Okay.
No, it
Because
was
I
not.
haven't been here a long time, but
Yeah.
I've been here long enough to know that it needed to be upped.
Right. We've completely expanded the career technical I want to give full credit to Kern High School District and all the high school districts in this county that have really expanded the ROC, the CTEC, and the career technical opportunities. Dual enrollment is increased by 600% over the past 6 years, so kids are walking across the stage with an AA in some cases, and at a minimum, at least some college courses, so they know they can be successful. And they're getting certificates to enter into trades and fields that are good paying jobs when they finish high school.
All right. So that's the Kern
That's
Pledge.
just a few.
Right. I was going to say,
There's
a
more.
a lot to be proud of.
Yes, we're excited.
Career pathways is something else that you're involved with, and briefly, what's going on with that? Because I'm sure Iman and some other students that are getting ready to go into high school or in high school, and like, all right, I need to start thinking about my career.
So every high school in the county has different career pathways. It depends on what they focused on. But we were just recently awarded an $18 million grant from the state of California to expand 3 focus areas. So engineering and computer science, nursing or healthcare, and education. Because we need more educators, we need more teachers, we need more people in the health industry, and we definitely need more people in the STEM industry. And the way that we're doing that is by partnering with UC Merced, UCLA, West Kern Community College District, which is Taft,
Right.
and then CSUB and our Kern Community College District partners, along with all of our K through 12 feeder schools, to create these seamless pathways where students can move straight from one organization into the next and complete in a very timely way certification to enter into those fields.
That would be awesome. instead of students, where do I go next? What do I
Right.
do next? You've got everything kind of laid out.
Exactly.
Follow this path. If this is what you want,
Right.
we'll help you succeed in a timely fashion also.
Yes.
So it's not like, oh, well, I got to wait until this happens in order to do this, and then I can't do that until this one thing. And
It's almost like a concierge service, and because of the data, we're able to hand the information off from one school district to another as they advance from elementary to middle to high
Okay.
to post-secondary. And so that makes all the difference in the world.
you're a busy lady.
I love my job.
There you go.
I love the team I work with. There's amazing people in this organization, and you're one of them.
Thank
you, Michael.
I'm one of way down at the bottom
No,
down there.
no.
Like, oh yeah.
Amazing people.
Well, we would like to say thank you because today is the first day of our 21st season.
That's awesome.
So I know last year we had a lot of activities with our 20th season completed, but we are on to season number 21. And hard to believe, but I've been here for all 21 of these seasons. And it's just amazing the growth that we have had with this program and the things that we're presenting and things like that.
Congratulations.
Well,
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you. Thank you for the employment opportunity to come here and do this. So one other thing I want to talk to you about is because Holiday Lights at Calm is run with the Kern County Superintendent of Schools office. And that has been a very popular activity for people in Kern County and people traveling from other areas to come
Yes.
here to see this.
Yes.
Because it's one of the best light shows in the country, not only California.
Absolutely.
And there's something new coming up this year called Autumn Nights. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
I'm so excited. This is going to be an opportunity for people to come to Calm and walk through the area and see all of the wonderful things that you normally see during autumn. So your scarecrows and do the maze and beautiful lights that just kind of remind you of what's so special about that change of the season. And be together in that beautiful weather that we have here in Bakersfield
Right.
during autumn.
Yeah, so that'll start up right at the beginning of October, I
Yes.
think it is when that starts?
Yes.
Okay, and that will go through the entire month of October, is that
It
correct?
will. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it starts October 6th.
Okay, so
every
October 6th.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I wasn't aware that
Yeah,
it
it's
was
not gonna be
Thursday,
Monday,
Friday,
Tuesday,
Saturday,
or
Sunday,
Wednesday.
whatever. Well, because Tuesday and Wednesday they'll be watching Do the Math.
Exactly.
But it gets over before dark, so you go out later on and see the lights out at Autumn Nights and stuff like that. And it's fun to see the animals and what's going on with those
And the kettle
animals out
corn.
there. You a kettle corn fan?
Yeah.
Do you like that better than just regular popcorn?
No, but I
Oh.
love cattle corn.
Right, and that's
Come on,
something
who
that
doesn't?
goes
It's
along with
famous.
going out in the autumn nights
There
and
you
stuff like that.
go.
So, all right, there you go. Well, Mary, we certainly do appreciate you taking out some time because we know that you are very busy. 200,000 students, plus 40 superintendents that you have to deal with all the time, and I'm sure they're always, hey, Mary, can I get this? Can I get this? Can I get it? Always looking for something. I know you're more than gracious with all of your time and your help, so we certainly do appreciate you coming
Thank
down
you. Thank
to
you for
visit us here.
having me.
All right. That is today's Math in the News. 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have tutors available until 5:30. We have Iman, a 7th grade student from Warren Junior High, and this is the first problem we're going to have Iman working on. So let's look at it together on the camera. And Iman, you know the difference between prime and composite numbers, correct?
Yes.
So briefly, tell us what the difference is between a prime and composite number.
A prime number is a number that does not have any factors. And a composite number has more than 2 factors.
Other than one in itself, it has other
Yeah.
factors that go into that number. All right, head on over to the board. You and Marylou are going to work on this. So you can see that in the first spot right here, I've got one digit by itself with a slash mark. So that means this will just be a single number by itself. The next 4 numbers all consist of 2 digits apiece. So you're looking for a total of 5 different numbers. You can use the numbers 1 through 9 because there are 9 spaces up there. You may only use each number once. So if you use the number 3 someplace, you cannot use the 3 again. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
So you're looking to make 5 numbers, and each of those numbers must be composite. So as you're thinking about this, just talk with Marylou. What are your thoughts? What do you think? And you know how the eraser works, right? That's the beautiful thing in math. You have an eraser. So if you see something you want to move, just erase it and keep going. Are you ready for this?
Question, do they have to be in consecutive order?
No.
Okay.
All right, go to it.
Okay, so what are your first thoughts?
So he said that they all have to be composite numbers, correct?
Correct.
So then we can like take out any prime numbers. So 1 is neither of them.
Okay, but could we use 1 somewhere else?
Oh yeah, true.
Right, so you have to use the 1,
Yeah.
because you have to use all of those numbers, because there are 9 spots up there.
So we don't want to start with 1 here is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
That's okay. So either here we could have 4, 6, or 8.
So why didn't you say 2?
Well, hold on there, before you guys get going. I know you said 4, 6, or 8. Couldn't 9 go there?
Oh yes, 9 is
Oh,
also
But
right.
how come you didn't say 2?
Because 2 does not have any more factors. Only 1 and 2. 1 times 2 equals 2. It doesn't. There's no other numbers.
So 2 is prime or composite.
prime.
So is 1 prime or composite?
1 is neither.
Thank you. And you know, that's a mistake a lot of students make. They do think it's prime, but it's not. It's neither prime nor composite. So where would you like to start?
I don't know. Maybe with the first number.
Okay. So what would you like to place there?
I'm thinking 4 for now.
Okay.
But maybe we can use another number later. We can erase that.
We
and change
can
it.
definitely change it. Okay.
So these 2 numbers have to be composite. So let's think about like the next biggest composite number that has 2 digits. So let's see, 12.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have a 0, so we
No.
can't do 10. Okay.
So you're using the 1 and the 2. So really, when you're thinking composite, which place value really matters the most? Is it the 10s or the 1s?
the ones,
Why would that be?
because the ones actually never mind. I think both the numbers are needed to find out if
Okay.
it's prime or composite.
All right, I'll let you put your 12.
And then we have to think the next biggest number that does not have a 1 or a 2. So it can't be in the 20s, but it can be in the 30s.
Okay.
So 30. Oh, we don't have a 0, never mind. 32, 33. Oh, can we use the same number twice, like 33?
No, we have to. We can only use them once.
Okay, so next would be 34.
Okay. And we know definitely 2 goes into that, correct?
Yes.
Now, you've already
So-
used your 4, though.
Oh, you did. Thank you. We've already used the
Oh.
4. So I'll go ahead and erase this.
Unless you
for
want to get rid of the first 4.
We could.
Well, what's next though? Instead of saying the 4 here,
we could
what's
use a 6.
we could use the 6. Okay.
So let's try that.
So now I think we're left with 4 numbers. And what are your 4 numbers? We have
5, 7, 8, and 9.
okay, 5, 7, 8, and 9.
So maybe, I'm not sure if 58 is prime or composite. 57. So I think 58 could work.
Okay, but let's do 57. Let's think about 57.
2 can't go into 57.
Right.
So
But could
Well-
3 go into 57?
yes, it can, because 5 plus 7 is 12. So that's a
Good rule to use.
divisibility rule. So
And then our last 2 numbers are
8 and 9.
8
which,
and 9.
Yes, it is a.
Is it?
It's a composite number. I believe.
Okay, so what goes into 89?
89. Let's see.
Because
Actually,
8
yeah.
plus 9
It's 17. So it
17,
can't
so
go
3
into-
won't go into that.
It doesn't end in a even number, so it can't go into 2.
Do you have to use it in this order?
Yeah, you can also switch it. So
Okay.
98.
There you go. Are you happy with that?
Yes? I
Yes?
think
All right.
Nicely done. Now, what I'd like you to do is have his color change.
Okay.
So what I'd like you to do, Iman, leave your 1 and 2 up there. So below it, where you have the 1 and 2 down there, right, put 12 again. Right? Now, in the next one, you wanted to put 34, correct?
Yes.
Originally. So put 3 and 4 in the next spot over. And let's say that first one was open. Forget that you used the 4. You don't have a number there. If you kept going in that pattern, would everything work the same way? So you went 1, 2 together, 3, 4 together. Could you do 5, 6, 7, 8, and then put the last one in the first?
Okay, 12, 34, 56, and then 89.
So go ahead,
Well,
put those
go ahead and
numbers
write
in
it
there
down.
and see if they would work.
Write down your 56, and then this would be
7 and 8.
7, 8, which is composite, correct?
Yes.
So what's our last number?
9. So the 9 could go here.
And
Okay.
Would the 9, don't, go ahead and put it underneath it. There we go. And does that still work?
Yes, it still does.
Because 9 is divisible by
3.
3.
And you're positive all those other numbers are composite.
Yes?
Yes, they all are.
Because honestly, all of these numbers end in a what kind of number? What kind of number?
And even digits, so 2 can go into those numbers.
Exactly. 2 can go to all those numbers except for 9, which is, you said 3.
Right, so once you see a pattern, that's the thing I wanted you to see was there are many other
Yes.
opportunities and options and ways to solve this problem, but I like the way you did it because you were going in an order and the 36 kind of threw you off a little because you wanted to do 34. But by seeing that you can see you can just make even numbers all the way through. You know 9's composite, so you don't have to worry about that being anywhere. Just put it at the beginning, we put the single digit by itself. Nicely done. All right, Iman, for a great first problem right there, you've got yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at Chick-fil-A, so congratulations on that. Have you ever been to Chick-fil-A?
Never actually.
No? Well, you know what? You have an opportunity now. You'll be able to go to Chick-fil-A, and they've been great sponsors of Do the Math for a long time. Come on up here for a minute, because I want to ask you something else about your International History Olympiad. Was that the only thing that you were taking part in over the summer?
Actually, no. I went to Detroit after that. There was a speech competition that I took place in.
And how did you get involved with, like, is this something that you had done before and you wanted to keep pursuing it to at a higher level?
Well, yes, I've done public speaking before. So they hold this thing at the temple, the Gurdwara, where you give a speech on the Sikh religion, and then you go to, if you qualify, you can go to Detroit for like the national. So it's the U.S. and Canada both.
And how was that experience?
It was a good experience going there and like giving a speech. I didn't place though, but that's okay. I got like experience.
Well, good. Well, you know what? That's the whole key, is going places and having experiences and things like that. So in this short summer, when you did all of this travel and the experiences you did, those will provide more enrichment for your life than you could probably even imagine right now. So I'm glad you had those opportunities to do those things. You ready to do some more math?
Sure.
We will in a little bit, but first we're going to take a look at one of the tools of mathematics.
Hi, I'm John, and today we're in the Do the Math Hot Rod Garage talking about the tools of mathematics. Everything in our dragster is designed to go straight down the quarter mile. Remember, a drag race is an acceleration contest between two vehicles down a straight course a quarter of a mile long. They leave from a standing start. First one to the finish line wins, the loser goes home. That's in eliminations. It's important that each car stay in its own lane. You're disqualified if you cross the center line or touch the wall. That's why everything in our dragster is designed for that car to go straight down the quarter mile. A big part of that are the rear tires on the car. Let's go have a look at those. We race with a specially designed tire called a drag racing slick. It's designed specifically for drag racing. It's a purpose-built tire. It's very wide and very tall on our car. It has no tread on top because we want the maximum contact batch with the racing surface. We want the maximum contact area. It's also made of a very soft rubber. We want the tires to be matched on both sides so that our car can go straight down the track. They need to have the same circumference. That's very important to the car going straight down the track. Let's go back to the workbench and I'll show you what I mean. I've created a model to show you an example of what I mean. This model represents our dragster's tire and wheel combination and the axle in between. We've got the same size wheel on both sides of our axle. If our calculations are correct, this should roll relatively straight down our benchtop racetrack. We've matched our wheels and tires from side to side. Drag racers refer to the circumference as rollout. Rollout is simply a term that means how far will the tire roll in one revolution. Here's a wheel and tire combination that's obviously mismatched from one side to the other. What do you think's going to happen? Wow, it's curving pretty strongly. Here's the reason why. Each revolution of the smaller wheel and tire is a shorter distance, a shorter rollout, than our larger wheel and tire. The axle has no choice but to curve to the side of the smaller tire. Racers refer to the difference in wheels from one side to the other as stagger. We stagger the tires from one side to the other to give the car that ability to turn left or turn right. On a drag strip, we don't want that, but on a circle track, it can be very beneficial. Sprint cars will almost always have a larger tire on the right rear than the left because they turn left all the time on their racetrack, so it works to their advantage. That brings us to the tool of mathematics we're going to use today. We could take a regular tape measure and try and measure our tires, but we've got a special tool for that. Let's go back and I'll show you what I mean. Our challenge now is to measure the circumference of our tires to make sure that they're matched. If we use a conventional tape measure, well, I don't think that's going to work too well. Let me show you why. A conventional tape measure is a steel blade that's about 1 inch wide. It's got a slight curve to it. That helps a carpenter who might be using this to reach out to a 2x4 or board that's a long ways away. But when we try and wrap it around our tire, it's not going to work very well. Watch. It's showing us over 108 inches, but it's not very accurate. There's a lot of gaps in between the tire surface and our tape measure. That's not going to work for us. But luckily, we have a special tool that's going to help us. It's called a tire stagger tape, and that's today's tool of mathematics. Let me show you how it's used. It's a very thin tape and very flexible. It wouldn't work very well for a carpenter reaching out for a 2x4, but it's going to work great for measuring this tire. We simply go at the center of the tire, wrap the tape measure around, come back up, and check our reading. About 104 3/8. Let's go over to the other side and make sure it's the same size. $104.25. There's a little bit of difference side to side. I have a suspicion that I know what that might be. Our tires didn't measure exactly the same circumference, but I've got a suspicion. One might have more air pressure than the other. Let me take the tire pressure gauge and have a quick look. This one measures 13 pounds of air. Let's go check the other side. This one only measures 10.5 pounds of air. Almost 3 pounds of difference could be the difference in our circumference. I'll let the air out of that side and we'll double check it. Almost there. There we go. 10.5 pounds. Perfect. Now let's check that measurement one more time. Now that we've got the tire pressures matched, let's check that circumference one more time. Right on the money, 104.25. Now our tires are matched and we're ready to go straight down the drag strip. Thanks to our tool of mathematics, the tire stagger tape.
All right, and thanks to John right there helping us out with the tools of mathematics, a new feature that we have this year. If you remember last year we were talking about the language of mathematics, and this year we'll be looking at some of the tools of mathematics. So, did you even know there was such a thing as a tire stagger tape?
Nope.
I didn't know either until we went out and recorded it, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool because it makes sense, because the regular measuring tape that most of us are accustomed to use, the first one to use, is not as flexible, and you can see those gaps on there and things like that. All right. So, before we get you going on the next math problem, do you have an idea of what you might want to do as far as a career when you're through with school?
I think I might do law. I'm not sure.
You might do law. Do you have a specific type of law you would like to go into, or just law altogether?
I'm not like that like fine down on it, but just law maybe.
Well, that's all right. You've got a path right now, right? All right, you ready to do some more math?
Sure.
Over to the board, young man. Let's take a look at the first problem that we're going to do. So it says, what number, so how could you represent a number that you don't know yet?
X.
All right, go ahead and put it up there. What number increased by 3? So how could you represent some number increased by 3?
X plus 3.
That'll work right now. Is equal to 3 less than twice the number.
So what would you put for equal to?
An equal sign.
Okay.
And then
It says 3 less.
3 less
Less
than
than.
twice the number.
less than twice the number. Okay, so maybe we can put minus 2x
Okay. 3
Three.
less than.
or 2x minus 3.
Okay. Why are you? Okay. Go ahead. Write that.
Okay.
When you hear the word less than, what do you know? What does that tell you on how the order of the numbers? Because it said 3 less than 2x, and you kind of wrote it the other way. How did you know to reverse that?
Because it kind of doesn't make any sense if it's like -3, like, and then you don't have a symbol in the middle to kind of put the -3 2x. That doesn't make any sense. So like,
Would this 3 less than 2x? What's the
No.
difference between this and this?
this means that you're taking 2x away from 3. This means you're taking 3 away from 2x.
And that's what less than is.
Yeah.
And that's, again, a lot that students need to understand. Okay, so we need to find what that number is. So how are we going to go about solving this to find out what that number is?
Algebra basically.
Okay.
So, for example, we could like subtract 3 on this side and subtract 3 on this side, and they would just cancel out, and it will just be x is equal to 2x. But to simplify that, you just need divided by x on each side. It will just be 0 is equal to, oh, never mind, okay. I don't
So let's look at this again.
But you need to solve for x, that's the thing.
Okay, we're going to need to solve for x. So we have x plus 3, right, is equal to 2x minus 3. Do we need more information, maybe, to help us solve this? Because you were using the inverse operation, right? You knew to get rid of the x. But look here again. When you said -3 minus 3, are you changing your mind on what you put there?
Yes, I did
Okay.
something wrong. So it should be -9.
-9 or -6?
Oh, sorry, -6.
Yeah, because because we have all negatives and we're grouping all those negatives together.
Together, yeah.
So go ahead and write your -9.
Or
Uh-huh.
-6.
Or -6, thank
I
you.
was going to say, you guys again, all going there. You're like -9. No, it's
And let's
-6.
bring down our 2x. And then bring down your x and your equals, right? Because you use the inverse operation here to get rid of this. So now what are you thinking? Now what can we do?
Now what we could do is add 6 to each side to kind of just get it out.
We could, but what do we have on both sides that are similar right now?
The x at the moment.
The x's. Why don't we combine those x's?
Yeah.
So how can we combine those x's?
So we can divide it. Never mind. Okay, so we can. Let's see.
Can we take this whole group of 2x and move it over just like you did here?
Yes, we could, and then
Okay.
that means you'd have to switch this to -2x and then switch this to +6.
So if you're switching that, don't you have to also switch that?
Switch that. Yeah, you have to.
Or instead of doing that, can we just subtract 2x from both sides?
Yeah,
Instead of
that would work.
switching all of the operations?
Yeah.
So let's try that. Let's try to subtract 2x from both sides.
Okay, so this is +2x. Sorry. So this would just cancel out,
Right?
and this would become. So since we're doing x minus 2x, that would come out as -x,
Okay.
which is equal to -6. So
And to get rid of our negatives, because we have negatives on both sides, which we can actually divide both sides by -1.
1, yeah. Sorry, it's kind of
And giving us an answer of x equals
x equals 6.
6. And the way you were originally doing it, wanting to change your operations, that would have worked. So you had x equals, where is it? 2x minus 6. So when we change our operations, we have to remember what we do to one side, we're going to do to everything else. So you wanted to make this negative, correct? So what we're really doing is we're multiplying everything by a -1, right? Giving us negative x equals negative 2x plus, because we have a negative, which is our positive. And there, now we're looking at this, and instead of saying we would add the 2x here, this way, giving you all positives, which is the same way.
Yes.
So there's multiple ways to get there, isn't there? There you go. So our answer solution is x equals
6.
6. Well done.
All right, there you go. 636-4357 is the phone number. We'll go to the phones right now, and I believe the student is Austin, but Austin is working with, I believe, his mom, and Austin is from American Elementary. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. As soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay, so the math problem we are working on is 7/8 minus 3/8 divided by 9 whole.
So it's 7/8 minus 3/8
Yes. Divided by 9 whole.
divided by 9. Okay. So Austin, have you heard of order of operation?
Yes. PEMDAS?
Yes, PEMDAS. So that's what I'm thinking right now, because I see we have a subtraction and I see we have a division problem. Do you see that as well?
Yes.
So we need to, because of PEMDAS, please excuse our dear, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So it's multiply or divide, whatever comes first, left to right. And here we have divide. We're going to do that before add or subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and put parentheses on this so it kind of stands out and we see that. So let's go ahead and take care of this. So Austin, do you know how to divide fractions?
We just started working on it.
Okay. So when we're dividing fractions, we're actually kind of doing a multiplication. So what we're really doing is we're taking this 3/8 and we're dividing it by 9 whole. So when we divide, think about if I have like 6 divided by 2. If I have 6 divided by 2, I have 6 whole pieces, right?
Yes.
And I'm dividing those into 2. So I know that each piece is going to be 3. Well, that's really what we're doing here. So I have 3/8, and I'm dividing my 3/8 into 9 pieces. That's what this is really saying. But when we go to do this, what we're really doing is we're taking that division and we're changing that to multiplication. And when we write 9, we write it as 9/1.
1.
So what I'm really doing, because I had changed my multiplication, I'm going to do what's called a reciprocal. And I'm really doing 1/9. So again,
Yeah,
we have that 3/8, and we're changing that, again, dividing into 9 pieces. And this is what that looks like. So when we multiply, what we're really doing is multiplying out our numerators and multiplying out our denominators. So 3 times 1 is what, Austin?
3 times 9, 27.
Well, no, 3 times 1. What's 3 times 1?
3.
3. And what's 8 times 9?
72.
72. Well, that's a pretty big fraction, isn't it? But we
Yeah.
can go ahead and simplify this. There's 2 ways we could do this. I can simplify it before we multiply, because I know if I look diagonal, I know that 3 goes into 9. How many times does 3 go into 9, Austin?
3 can go into 9 3 times.
Right. So if I'm dividing both of these by 3, 3 divided by 3 I know is 1. 9 divided by 3 I know is 3. Now I have a whole different problem, don't I? I have 1 times 1, which is 1, and I have 8 times 3, which is 24. That's a lot simpler to look at, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here, I can still simplify this because I know 3 goes into 72 actually 24 times. So I would divide both of these by 3, giving me 1 over 24, which is the same thing. So there's 2 different ways that you could go about this. So we know that this first part is 1 over 24. Now let's bring down our 7/8. Let me move this down a little bit. So now we have 7/8 subtracted by 1 over 24. What do I need to do here? These both need to be what?
Having the same base,
Yeah.
denominator.
Right. And always ask yourself, does the smaller denominator go into the larger denominator? Does 8 go into 24?
Yes.
It does. How many times?
3.
3. So I know I need to take this 7/8 and I need to times both numerator and denominator by 3. 7 times 3 is what?
21.
21. And what's 8 times 3?
24.
24. So now I can rewrite this. 21 over 24, subtract 1 over 24. Isn't that a lot simpler to look at? So,
Yeah.
Austin, what's 21 minus 1?
21 minus 1 equals 20.
20. So now we have 20 over 24. Can you simplify that? Can we break that down even more?
Yes.
Okay. What number goes into 20 and 24?
4.
4, okay. So let's divide both of these by 4. What do we get? What's 20 divided by 4?
5.
5. And what's 24 divided by 4?
6.
So depending on what your teacher is asking, your answer could be 20 over 24, or it could be 5, 6, because they're actually both correct. So again, when you're doing this, Austin, always remember what is going to come first. Think of your PEMDAS. Is it going to be subtraction? Is it going to be division? Add parentheses if that helps you. Break it apart and see it. And again, do one piece at a time to get you to your final answer. There you go, Austin. I hope that was helpful.
There you go. Nicely done, Austin. And thank you for being the first phone caller of this season. So as I said, we are in our 21st season. We are available for you every Tuesday and Wednesday throughout the regular school year, or at least most of the regular school year. April and May, we kind of taper off a little bit as the students are doing more activities at school and getting ready for testing and things like that. Do you like that time of the year, testing at school? No, I don't much care for it myself either.
I
But
don't
it's one
either.
of those things that we have to do. Anyway, the ROC and CTEC have been great partners of Do the Math for many, many years. And let's take a look at nursing assistants with them right now.
So I'm a registered nurse. I have a bachelor's degree of nursing in science. And I worked acute care and home health care before I started doing this. This is my 26th year teaching this program. cover the requirements under the California Department of Public Health for Title 22 regulations for nursing assistant certification. So you go all the way from just introductory, like basic, what it takes to be a nursing assistant, all the way through all the skills required to take care of somebody. So bathing, like all the hygiene skills, vital signs, infection control. We do like ambulating, walking, dressing somebody. So there's just a wide variety of things that we do.
We're basically being trained to get our certification to be a nursing assistant. So we learn how to care for mostly geriatric patients. We do like, you know, personal care, which is like changing diapers and feeding and bathing. We also do more of like the daily activities like walking and, you know, things like that. We also transfer them. We do exercises with them. That way they can still move and, you know, be flexible.
How we were able to meet different people from the different schools, and a lot of us have all these, obviously we have things in common if we're wanting to be in this field, so I think it's just nice meeting other people around my age taking kind of like the future more seriously.
There's not a whole lot of math for nursing assistants. Nursing does require a lot of math. Pretty much the only math that we do are we calculate ounces to cc's and cc's to ounces. We also measure like output, like urine output, or we measure intake, like how much fluid somebody drinks. So it's mostly metrics and it's very basic.
We also have to measure intake and output, so we have to measure how much water or fluid someone's drinking as opposed to how much they're putting out. And we have to be able to calculate the meal percentage. That way we know how much they're eating and we can document that. That way if there's a change in their condition, we'll be able to note it and we can report it to the correct people.
And once again, a big thanks to all of the students and staff over at ROC and CTech. Great partners of Do the Math, and those videos that you're viewing and all of the ones that were done last year are all produced by the students at ROC and CTech. Some wonderful skills that they're garnering over there, and I mean, it's incredible, the videos that they've been putting out since the beginning, and you can see how they get better and better as they keep going. But we want to once again say thank you to Brian Miller, the principal over there, and all of the staff and students that helped make these videos for Do the Math, an essential part of our program.
Yes, it is.
All right. Iman is a 7th grade student from Warren Junior High. Did rather well over the summer, a lot of experiences with some different competitions and stuff, and did well at those. And just the life experience, I think, is going to be something valuable for you also right there. You ready for one more math problem?
Sure.
All right. Head on over to the board with Marylou. We'll take a look at it
Go
together.
ahead, take your pick.
So a construction company built 400 houses last year.
Right.
So I don't know if you need that number, but 400 houses last year. Because of rapid growth in the area, they built, or it increased 30%. So they had a 30% increase this year. How many houses did the company build this year?
So what are you thinking?
So I'm thinking since at a 30% increase, it's going to be 400 times 30%.
Okay.
So 30%, we can't multiply out 30%. So to simplify it, we can put it as 0.30 or 0.3. We could do like 400 times 0.30.
So my question is, do you need do you need that 0 right
No,
there?
you don't. It's just
Okay.
going to be all blank
Okay.
right there. So then it's just going to be 0, 0, 12, and then just more zeros. So the answer is just going to be 1200, but it's not. That's not the answer though, because since there are 2 decimal places, since like 30, the decimal place is right here, you have to move it 2 places. So the answer will be 12.
12 now.
Okay.
How many houses though? So what does this 12 represent? So if they did 400 houses last year, they increased by 30%. How many total houses did they now build?
Okay, I see.
So what do we need to do to that 12?
We need to, let's see.
So if they increased, is their base 400?
No, yeah, that's
That's
where they
their
start
base.
off.
That's where they started. They increased 30%. And increase means what operation?
Addition.
Addition. So what are we going to do with the 400 and the 12?
We add them.
We're going to add them together, right?
Okay. So that's only just going to make 412.
So does that, let's look back at our,
That doesn't seem like
no,
a
let's
reasonable
Right,
look
just
back
think
at
about
our
your- yeah.
multiplication, okay? So if we have, double check that. Are we missing a 0 somewhere?
Let's see. Oh, right. Yes, it's an extra 0. Yeah, I always forget to put that because usually, like, sometimes I put an X or just I don't put anything there, and then I just forget after a while.
So this 12 is really what number?
It's actually just 12,000. Or, yeah, 120.
It's 120?
Yeah, because we have to move the decimal place still 2 places, so it's going to be 120. But wouldn't we have to add that to
Yep.
400? So 400 plus 120 is going to be 520.
20. So here's another way, because it's an increase, we know that we have the 400, right? The 400 represents the 100%. In addition, we had another 30%, right? We increased this by 30%. So if we try multiplying this for me, I'm doing 1 3/10, which represents 1 30 hundredths. Multiply this for me, and let's see what we get with that.
And I'll give you about a half a minute to do
Okay.
that.
Okay. So 0, 0, 12. But then you're going to have to add that extra
0,
0 there.
right.
So then it's going to be 0, 0, 4. So then you add those together. It's
Which,
going to be 0, 0, 2, 5. But then you have to move the decimal point, which will make it 520.
and we got to the same answer.
Yeah.
There you go.
So 520 is correct.
520 is the, yep.
All right, nicely done. So Iman, come on up. Marylou, come on up. So another way to think about it was 10% of 400 is 40. That's 10%. So if you just take 40 3 times for 30%, you've got 120. Just add it, and you got the 520. So a couple of different ways you could solve that problem right there. Iman, did you learn a little something?
Kind of, yeah.
Did you have fun today?
Yes, I did.
Good. Well, that's the key right there. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30, and until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and Kern High School District, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.